I've been a park ranger in the Cherokee National Forest for 6 years, and I know the difference between a real distress call and someone messing around. That's why when I heard the child crying at 2 in the morning, 3 miles deep in the restricted zone, I knew something was wrong. Dead wrong. It was July, middle of peak season, but no permits had been issued for that section in over a month. The eastern ridgeline was closed after a hiker fell and broke his spine on the rocks. And yet, through my radio static, I could hear it, a small voice, sobbing, calling for help. "Hello? Is anyone there? I'm lost. Please, I'm scared." My supervisor, Marcus, was asleep in the main cabin. I should have woken him. Protocol says you never go into the backcountry alone after dark. But the voice sounded so young, maybe 6 or 7, and every second I hesitated was another second that kid was out there alone. I grabbed my pack, my flashlight, and my radio. 20 minutes later, I was on the trail. The forest at night is a different world. The beam of my flashlight carved a narrow tunnel through the darkness, and beyond that circle of light, there was nothing but an ocean of black. The July heat had disappeared, replaced by a damp cold that clung to my skin. My breath misted in the air. "Hello?" I called out. "This is Ranger Sarah. Can you hear me?" Silence. Then, faint and distant, I heard it again. "Help me, please. I can't find my mom." My pulse quickened. The voice was coming from somewhere off the main trail, deeper into the woods. I clicked on my radio. "Base, this is Sarah. I'm about 1.5 miles in on the eastern trail. I've got a possible lost child, requesting backup." Static. Then Marcus's groggy voice crackled through. "Copy that, Sarah. Stay put. I'm on my way." "Negative. The kid sounds close. I'm going to make contact and mark my position." "Sarah, don't..." I switched off the radio. I didn't have time to argue. I pushed through the underbrush, branches clawing at my jacket. The voice called out again, closer now. It was coming from a small clearing about 50 yards ahead. I could see the faint outline of trees breaking into open space. "I'm coming, sweetie. Keep talking so I can find you." "I'm here. I'm right here." I stepped into the clearing and swept my flashlight across the area. Nothing. No child. No tent. No footprints. Just wet leaves and moss-covered stones. "Hello?" I called, my voice sounding smaller than I wanted it to. The crying started again, but this time it wasn't in front of me. It was behind me. I spun around, my light cutting through the darkness. Still nothing. That's when I noticed something wrong. The crying didn't sound like it was coming from one place. It was layered, echoing, like someone had recorded it and was playing it back from multiple speakers hidden in the trees. My stomach dropped. "I'm here," the voice said again. But now it sounded different, flatter, like someone imitating a child without really understanding the emotion behind it. I backed toward the center of the clearing, my hand moving to the canister of bear spray on my belt. My father had been a ranger before me, and he'd told me stories. Stories the senior rangers didn't put in the training manuals. Stories about things in these mountains that shouldn't exist. "If you ever hear something calling for help in the woods at night," he'd said, "and it doesn't feel right, trust your gut. Don't go looking. Because sometimes the thing calling out isn't looking to be found. It's looking to find you." I'd thought he was trying to scare me. Now, standing alone in that clearing, I realized he'd been warning me. The crying stopped. The silence was worse. I turned slowly, my flashlight beam sweeping across the tree line. That's when I saw it. At the edge of the clearing, maybe 30 feet away, there was a shape. Tall, impossibly thin. It stood just outside the ring of light, its body blending into the darkness. It wasn't moving. I took a step back, my boot snapping a twig. The sound echoed like a gunshot. The shape tilted its head, not like a person considering something, like a puppet on strings being adjusted. "Help me," it said. But this time, the voice didn't come from its direction. It came from directly behind me. I whipped around. Nothing. When I turned back, the shape had moved. It was closer now, just at the edge of my light. I could see more detail. Long, spindly limbs that bent at wrong angles. Skin that looked like wet bark. And its face. God, its face. It didn't have one. Just a smooth, blank surface where a head should be. But there was a split running vertically down the center, and from that split, I could see something moving. Something wet and red, pulsing like exposed muscle. "I'm scared," it said, and the voice was perfect. A child's voice, trembling with fear. But the thing's body didn't move. The sound was just happening. I pulled out my bear spray, my hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. "Stay back!" I shouted. The split in its face widened. I realized it was smiling. Then it spoke again, but this time it wasn't a child's voice. It was mine. "Stay back," it said, in my exact tone, with my exact inflection. I ran. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I just turned and sprinted into the woods, my flashlight bouncing wildly, tree branches whipping across my face. Behind me, I could hear it following, not running, not chasing, just walking. But it was fast, impossibly fast, its footsteps crunching through the undergrowth in a steady, rhythmic pattern. And then I heard Marcus's voice. "Sarah, where are you?" I nearly sobbed with relief. I changed direction, running toward the sound. "Marcus, I'm here. There's something." "Sarah, where are you?" He said it again, the exact same way, same tone, same cadence. I skidded to a halt, my breath burning in my lungs. That wasn't Marcus. Marcus would have said something different. He would have answered me. The voice came again, from a different direction. "Sarah, where are you?" Then again, and again. A dozen versions of Marcus's voice, overlapping, surrounding me. I was in the center of a circle, and the thing was everywhere. I dropped to my knees, pulling out my radio with trembling hands. "Marcus, if you can hear me, I'm in the eastern sector, half a mile past the Ridgeline Trail. There's something out here. Don't come looking. I repeat, do not." A hand touched my shoulder. I screamed and spun around, the bear spray already in motion. But it was Marcus. The real Marcus. Older, graying, out of breath, with a headlamp strapped to his forehead and a rifle slung across his back. "Easy, easy, it's me." I nearly collapsed into him. "We need to go, now. There's something—" "I know," he said, his face grim. "I heard it on the way in. It's been using your voice for the last 10 minutes. A chill ran through me. We moved quickly, Marcus leading, his rifle raised. The voices had stopped. The forest was silent except for our footsteps and our ragged breathing. We were almost back to the main trail when Marcus stopped. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. I listened, faint, distant, a child crying. "It's trying again," I said. Marcus shook his head slowly, his face pale. "Sarah, that's coming from the direction of the ranger station." We ran. When we reached the cabin, the door was open. Inside, the radio was on, and through the static, we could hear it. My voice, Marcus's voice, the child's voice, all of them layered and looping, calling out into the night. Marcus grabbed the radio and smashed it against the wall. The voices stopped. We spent the rest of the night in the cabin, every light on, the rifle loaded and ready. Neither of us slept. When dawn finally came, we hiked back to the clearing. In the mud, we found tracks, long, deep gouges where something with too many joints had stood and watched. We filed a report, called it a false alarm. No one asks questions when you do that. But I know what I heard, and I know what I saw. 3 weeks later, a hiker called in a distress report. They'd heard a child crying near the eastern ridgeline. We told them it was probably an animal, a fox, maybe. They make sounds like that sometimes. We closed the trail permanently. If you ever go hiking and you hear someone calling for help in the woods, make sure you can see them first. Make sure they're real. Because sometimes the thing crying out in the dark isn't looking to be saved. It's looking for someone who will come running. Thanks for watching. I hope you consider subscribing for weekly videos.